The long, long struggle of ancient times finally ended. The victor sacrificed the vanquished to the heavens. 4 bells tolled, 4 torches were lit, and the world continued for thousands of years. Hello, everyone! Welcome to this game! If you're wondering about that room we were just sitting in, I'll explain that after a while. For now, I just want to introduce this game because, after all, the game is why we're here, not so much the room. The Algos solar system, somewhere in space. Once a brilliant civilization flourished here. The citizens devoted themselves to art and the sciences, and life was prosperous and good. Then, a series of disasters struck. The system-wide management system, Mother Brain, was destroyed. So was the first planet, Parma. Oh, gosh dang it, Samus! Over 90% of the system's population died, and the advanced technological culture was lost. Society declined, spiraling downward until at last only a few scattered groups even remembered there were once better times. 1,000 years passed. Not 999, not 1001, 1,000 on the dot. At last, civilization is once more on the rise across the Algo system. People are again turning to thoughts of an easier life. Old knowledge is being rediscovered. But just as things look brighter, beyond a threshold long thought closed, a dark and very ancient evil stirs. So, with that little introduction out of the way, allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Dragon Llewellyn Fuzzbottom Jr., and I am a raccoon dragon, as far as you know. So this game right here, Phantasy Star 4, was released by Sega somewhere around 1994 for the Sega Genesis, aka the Sega Mega Drive. I'm just gonna call it the Genesis, because that's the name I grew up with, and honestly, it's a cooler name anyway. So if you're familiar with the Phantasy Star Online games, this is basically the precursor to those games. The series started out as a turn-based RPG series, and to my understanding, they were pretty good. This is the only one I really played, so I can't really speak for the others. That said, I certainly wouldn't mind if Sega returned to the series' roots and made another turn-based RPG, but who knows if that'll ever happen. By the way, while I have played this game before, I've never actually beaten it. I do remember certain parts of it, mainly like the opening stuff, a few key events, a certain plot twist later on. That's about it. No, and I also know what the final boss looks like. Primarily because people at YouTube won't stop putting the final boss in their thumbnails. But I digress. How about we go ahead and get this started, shall we? Chaz, we have work to do. Hurry up and get ready. I'm gonna tell you right now, some of the audio cues are gonna be seemingly out of sync, but they're not. The dink sound is not cued with the opening of dialogue boxes, but with the cue of the pictures appearing on screen. So, just so you know, the audio is not out of sync. Anyway, this is your first job since you joined the Hunters Guild. You'd better put your heart into it. So, I'm not a trainee anymore. From this day on, you are a full-fledged partner. Now come on, let's go. Nice that we're not actually in training at this point in the game. Don't have to do training or tutorials. That would have been a waste of time. Instead, we can go ahead and jump straight to it. Where are we off to this time? It's a bit far. We're going to Motavia Academy in the town of Piata. Wow, so we're going to the town of learning. I wonder what's happened there. Who knows? A message said, just come. We'll get the details once we're there. By the way, I just love the Sega Genesis sound chip. A lot of people don't like the sounds produced with the Genesis, but I love them. Makes me nostalgia for like 80s music. Since we're going to be there anyway, I'd sure like to tour the Academy. Is that all you can think about? Get moving or I'll leave you behind. By the way, I have not had any control at this point. AW2284. Monster attacks have swelled the ranks of those who call themselves hunters. But as the attacks become ever... I can't progress the dialogue on my own. As they become ever more frequent and powerful, an elite few begin to wonder what is behind this outbreak. And when and how will it all end? Okay, if you're living in a world where monsters are suddenly becoming more frequent and powerful, you should just automatically assume that some evil force is either trying to take over the world or destroy it. Oops, I wandered around and now I've gotten separated from Alice. I've got to find her. There she is! Okay, so let's see what my controls here. Obviously, I can walk around. A is the main menu, B is cancelled, C is to interact with stuff. Start button is my options, including to save anywhere, by the way. That's kind of handy. Also, the other day in my stream when I said that older games don't allow you to save anywhere because that takes up too much memory, I apparently did not have any idea what I was talking about. Set the message speed faster, and battle speed I'll leave alone. Buttons I'll keep to default. I find it interesting, by the way, that opening the main menu is called camping. This right here, it's camping. Speaking of these options, what we got here? Tech, skill, equip, state, mumble. I wonder where Alice is. She's right there. Are you a hunter? Are you here to exterminate the monsters? About a month ago, monsters began to appear in the basement. I'm so frightened I can't even think about my research. You're the hunter commissioned by the principal? A kid like you? Are you going to be able to handle it? Kid? How old is he? Oh, 16. That's pretty young. Only 16 and already graduated to a mercenary? Most kids are still in high school at this point. By the way, this game has an interesting quirk whenever you're walking around. Allow me to go ahead and hold up. That entire time I was holding up. I did not press left or right or any other direction. Apparently, whenever you walk into walls and that sort of thing, the game automatically guides you around them. It's interesting, but it's probably going to get annoying if I'm actually trying to interact with a thing in front of me. Chaz, where have you been? Come on, let's go. But we have to see the principal and get the details about this commission. Alright, let's go ahead and do that then. So, here's a cool thing about this game. It has these anime manga styled cutscenes in it. Welcome. I'm the principal of this academy. Let's see, you must be Alice the hunter, and you are her assistant Chaz. Forgive me, but Chaz is a full-fledged partner of mine. Now, let's get down to business. Describe the situation. About a month ago, mysterious monsters started to appear within this academy. It appears that they have made the basement their headquarters. I've since closed it off. So far, no one's been hurt, but who knows when they'll appear again. Please, I beg you to destroy all those creatures. I'd like to settle this matter discreetly. I'm counting on your reputation, Alice. No problem, you can rely on us. Although, it's strange that all those monsters suddenly appeared in this academy. Usually monsters don't come into inhabited areas. Do you have any idea how this happened? How would I know? Stop asking questions. Just hurry and exterminate those monsters. Don't forget, I'm paying you dearly for your services. Well, that's not suspicious. Good luck, I'm counting on you. Something smells fishy here. That principal was hiding something. Maybe he's afraid of the monsters? I think there's more to it than that. Things are starting to get interesting. Well, I certainly hope they're getting interesting, because if not, people are going to stop watching this stream. By the way, that's what I'm doing here. I'm streaming this at Twitch, eventually going to post it at YouTube. In fact, give me a moment to look over the chat. Alright, I looked at the chat. Sir Rasa brought up a good point there. Games that could save anywhere, a lot of them might have not done that because you could save yourself into a corner by accident. Huh? Do I know you? Yikes! What are you doing with such lethal weapons? Get out! How rude. I'm gonna be skipping around townsfolk here and there. Kind of wanna get to the really cool stuff as soon as possible, but I'm gonna talk with some of these guys because some of them changed their dialogue after I beat the first boss. I'm so scared of the monsters. There's nothing I'd like more than to leave town, but the principal won't allow it. That's not cool. I mean, if there's monsters residing in this very building, one would think an evacuation would have taken place by now. What? You're the hunters? Really? You don't think we can do the job? No, not at all. I didn't mean that. Since we had the principal's permission, let us pass. Wait! Take me with you! And why should we? My name is Han. I am an assistant at this academy. I work for Professor Holt, who has gone to investigate Birth Valley for his research. We haven't heard from him since. So now I am searching for the professor's whereabouts. Birth Valley, that's that mysterious place that has been called the Sacred Valley of Life. But what's the connection between the valley and this current monster scare? After the investigation team, led by the professor, was reported missing, the principal barred everyone from entering Birth Valley. We're trying to get information as to what's going on, but he keeps evading the issue. And then this monster scare begins. I'll bet anything that there is some sort of connection between these incidents. Well, it's true that there is something fishy about the principal's behavior. Given the circumstances, I feel compelled to investigate the basement myself. But kinda think of it, it is a bit dangerous. So you were just waiting for us to arrive? Well, yes. You catch on quick. 100 meseta. What? We'll take you with us for 100 meseta. That's apparently the currency in this world. I hope you weren't thinking of asking to tag along with us for free. I can't get that kind of money from the principal. That's not my problem. Now, what are you going to do? Okay, I'll pay. Interestingly, he actually did pay us. We have an extra 100 meseta in our inventory. Also, to Sequel99, who is in the chat, I will answer your question a little bit later, after the first episode break. Or during the first episode break, rather. Let me go over to this guy real quick again, because now with Han with us, I'm so scared of the monsters. There's nothing like more than to get out of here, but since the principal feigns ignorance before the citizens, we've got to stay quiet. Well, you're certainly trying hard to keep up appearances. And there's a few people outside in town that I want to talk to real quick. I saw it! In the middle of the night, some suspicious-looking men carried a big parcel into the academy. This happened some time ago, but I wonder what it could have been. Huh. Bet that doesn't have anything to do with what we're up to today. Just when it seemed that the number of monsters was decreasing, they're now roaming in the town. Do you think this is some kind of omen? Yes. No monster can get into this town. The walls surrounding the town will protect us. That's why I think those strange monsters must be appearing from within the town. I think there's something mighty suspicious about the research going on at the academy. That does sound pretty suspicious, so let's go ahead and head on into the basement and do some investigation. And we're entering the first dungeon. And that was a thing. Monomate, that's like a potion, heals HP. And... So... most RPGs, when they start you off with battles, they tend to start you off with things like imps and slimes and wolves. This game starts you with Zoran bolts. Well, let's start off with just some regular attacks and see what these things are capable of. Not to mention what we're capable of. Tell you what, Han doesn't have a whole lot of HP. Out of curiosity, what are our levels? Alice is at level 7, Chaz is level 1, Han at level 1. Alice has definitely had a whole lot more training. Look at all this dust. I can't read the titles on these books. I wonder how long this area has been abandoned. Ooh, Hunter Masada. Xanafalg. Alright, Xanafalgs. Let's check out our spells and stuff. So, she has Saner, Shift, and Foy. Okay, so... this is a pretty good game, but if there's one thing that I have to complain about, it's the spell names. You really aren't able to tell what these are supposed to be just by looking at their names. The manual is super helpful in this case. Thankfully, I do have the manual for this game, and I have already written down what these spells do. So let's start with Saner. Saner increases reaction speed of all active characters. Shift increases the physical attack strength of one active character. Foy blasts the enemy with a bolt of flame. Sure, let's try that out. Let's see, Chaz has Res, which is a healing spell, restores HP. He also has this. So there's two types of different magics in this game. You got the regular magic, which is like magic in other games. This costs 3 MP, or I guess rather TP in this case. Whereas we have these other types of spells which have a limited amount of charges. So I can cast Earth 3 times. I believe Earth is, well, let's see here. Knocks the enemy unconscious using energy drawn up from the ground. It's basically a paralysis spell. It's actually not terribly strong. It works, but it only works for a turn or two. Meanwhile, he's got Galun. Causes enemies to age quickly and reduces attack strength. And he's also got Vision. Gives characters the ability to predict and compensate for enemy moves. Increases dexterity. Not sure what exactly dexterity is. That's not really covered. Ooh, critical hit! It's not really covered in the manual, unfortunately. Okay, 3 of these guys. You know what? Don't worry about using any spells. You go ahead and see if you can stun one of them. And let's actually try that vision thing again. Alice is pretty handy since she can attack entire groups. It is very nice of this game to give a character that can attack all enemies like that. Also, apparently my paralysis spell failed, so that's no cool. Oops, I accidentally used vision again. Oh well, don't matter. Level ups are cool. Again, not entirely sure what all of these stats are for, aside from the obvious. Antidote. I think I can probably guess what that's for. Sukwal says that dexterity is hit percent. Possibly. What's this? What is this? Stop wasting time, there's nothing here. Okay, I was just pressing left in order to inspect the thing next to me, but that whole automatically walking around obstructions thing is... yeah, that's gonna get annoying. It's broken. Also, that's a thing. Let's go ahead and inspect that thing. And then get into a random encounter. So by the way, there's a macro option. You can use this to set up all of your characters' attacks and save certain attack formations and that sort of thing. Basically, like in this situation, this default one just tells everybody to attack. Reason you would want to use this is because certain spell combinations, for example, this person casts spell 1, the next person casts spell 2, and the next person casts spell 3, will result in a more powerful spell, like a combined spell. I don't really know what any of them are, but if I find any of them out, I want to create macros for them so I can more easily cast them anytime I want. Okay, back to this guy. And we have our first boss fight, Iglanova. Let's go ahead and start off with just some regular attacks and see what this guy is going to do. Apparently, this guy spawns enemies. That might be annoying. That is certainly a weird first boss. I'm gonna have you defend for a turn, Alice. Because I want to demonstrate something real quick. In fact, actually, back up. I know exactly what I'm going to want to do, so I'll have you do it now. I'm going to have you attack your own attack power. And these guys are going to hit the boss a couple more times. So the way this boss works is he keeps spawning enemies, but if there's no more to spawn, he starts attacking you. Ooh boy. So, Han is almost dead. So, ideally, raise Alice's attack so she can attack all enemies at once and kill them. As long as there's enemies to spawn, that's all the boss will be doing is spawning enemies. Meanwhile, with Alice's boosted attack, that happens, and basically, we're gonna have this fight in the bag. Because now, with the boss constantly spawning more enemies, he's never going to attack us, and neither is the enemies that are being spawned. It is a handy strategy. Kind of makes things a little bit easy, but then again, this is the first boss. He should be almost down now. And there we go. Boss defeated. Hooray! And with the boss defeated, we're probably going to have a little bit of story. Oh hey! Thanks for the cheer, Sir Rosser. I definitely appreciate that. Ooh, we get a nice amount of experience from the boss. Either that or it's because of all the lackeys we killed. So, that's the first boss taken care of. We should probably move on to some story, but it's almost time for the episode break. But, just real quick, I wanted to explain what the deal with this room here is about. So, I am playing this on the Sega Genesis and Mega Drive collection. Or is it the Sega Mega Drive and Genesis collection? Either or. It's available on Steam and also I think PS2, maybe Xbone. And it's really cool because you have quite a nice selection of games sitting here. I think there's 51 games, and individually they're like $1 or so, but if you buy them in bulk, $30. That is quite a deal. And you also get to have stuff like achievements and challenges and leaderboards. In the case of this game, the leaderboards is how much money you collect. Not terribly important. Oh, you also get save states. I did not want to do a save state. I meant to press this button. I'm playing on an Xbox 360 controller and I'm not entirely used to it. Anyway, with that introduction out of the way, I think it's time to go ahead and take our first episode break. And we will be right back. Alright, good. My capture streaming program did not try to crash that time. So, be right back.